Today we're going to talk about point slope form. And so this is point slope form here. Let's box this in. So point slope form is the equation of a line that you're going to use when you are given, hence the name, a point and the slope. So when you're given a point and slope, you're going to use point slope form. And so you're going to actually have a number here. So this number right here, this y1, is the y coordinate of your point. This x1 is also going to be replaced with a number, which is the x coordinate of your point. And then your slope is a number, which is your m. All right, so the first example is what we're going to do is given the slope of a line and a point in which it passes, we're going to write each of these in point slope form and slope intercept form. So we're going to practice both forms, point slope and slope intercept. Okay, so I'm going to circle the things that we have. We have a slope of -2, so I'm going to write that down. So our m is -2, and it's passing through the point 3, -3. And so just as a reminder, for your point, your first number is your x1, your second number is your y1. So we're going to start in point slope form. So point slope form is y minus y1 equals m parentheses x minus x1. So we're going to start there, and I'm going to label this point slope. I'm going to abbreviate that. Okay, so now we're going to plug in. And the reason we're starting in point slope is because we were given a point and we were given slope. So we're going to write y minus my y1 of my point was -3 equals my m is -2 parentheses x minus my x coordinate of my point is 3. And this is going to be my answer. The only change I'm going to make is that this minus a negative or double negative should turn into y plus 3 equals -2 parentheses x minus 3. That is my answer in point slope form. So notice when you have it in point slope form, you're going to have your parentheses in your answer. Now we're going to put it in slope intercept form. I'm going to abbreviate that. So as a reminder, slope intercept form is y equals mx plus b. So whenever you're doing slope intercept form, you're going to take your equation and we are solving for y. We're going to solve this for y. So the first step that I would do in solving for y, I need to get rid of these parentheses. So I'm going to distribute this through. So -2 times x is -2x. -2 times -3 is +6. Bring down my equals, bring down my y plus 3. And now I'm going to subtract 3 on both sides. I only subtract 3 to my 6 because those are the only two things that go together that are like terms. So then I bring down my y equals -2x plus 3. And there's my answer in slope intercept form. So I have two answers, one in point slope, one in slope intercept. Okay, example 2. I have a slope of 2/3. So I'm going to write that down. M equals 2/3. And it passes through the point -9, 4. So my point, remember to label these, would be that's my x1 and 4 is my y1. Because I have a point and slope, we're going to start off in point slope form. So point slope form is y minus y1 equals m parentheses x minus x1. And then you're going to plug in those values. So y minus my y1 is 4 equals my m is 2/3 parentheses x minus my x1 is -9. The only change that I need to make is anytime I'm doing point slope is to get rid of double negatives. So my final answer will be y minus 4 equals 2/3 parentheses x plus 9. And there's my answer in point slope form. Now I'm going to write my answer In slope-intercept form, remember slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. So anytime you're doing slope-intercept form, you're trying to solve for y. So I'm going to rewrite my equation that I have in point slope form. And now I'm going to solve for y. So my first step in solving for y is to distribute. 2/3 times x is 2/3 x. 2/3 times 9. You can do that on your calculator. So as a reminder, on your calculator, you would do 2, your fraction button, 3, and then times 9, and then hit enter, and you should get out a 6. And then I bring down my equals, bring down y minus 4. Final step is to add 4, and I only add it to my constant because you can only add and subtract like terms. So I have y equals 2/3x plus 10. And there's my second answer in slope-intercept form. Example 3. This time I have a slope of -5/2, and it's going to pass through the point -8, comma, -13, and I'm going to label that point just to remind myself x1, y1. And I'm going to start in point slope form because I have a point and I have slope. So point slope form is y minus y1 equals m parentheses x minus x1. And now I'm going to start plugging in. So y minus my y1 is -13 equals m, which is -5/2, parentheses x minus my x1 is -8. The only changes I'm going to make are to get rid of my double negative, which becomes a positive. So my final answer for point slope will be y plus 13 equals -5/2, parentheses x plus 8. So there is my point slope answer. Now I'm going to write it in slope-intercept form, which is the form y equals mx plus b. So anytime we're doing slope-intercept, we are solving for y. So I'm going to take my equation, y plus 13 equals -5/2, parentheses x plus 8. And now I'm going to solve. Notice you do the same thing every time when you solve. You distribute first. So that's -5/2x. And then -5/2 times 8 would be -20. You would do that on your calculator again. -5/2 or -5 fraction button 2 times 8. And then equals y plus 13. Final step, we're going to subtract 13. And I only do that to the constant. So I have y equals -5/2x minus 33. And there's my answer in slope-intercept form. Okay, that's going to conclude the lesson for 6.4 Part 1. So now you have your worksheets to begin working. If you have any questions on your worksheets, you're welcome to message me on Canvas and I can help you. You have 12 problems to do on your worksheet. You're going to do all 12 and you're going to write your answers in both forms, in point slope form and in slope intercept form.